Yo, 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 U.S. history peeps in the state of Georgia. This is Mr. Scott back with another video on the colonial era. This time, this is standard number 2 of the Georgia U.S. history standards. And I'm going to give to you all the essentials that you need if you're taking the EOC milestone or unit test or anything in U.S. history and the state of Georgia that's covering standard number 2. This is going to give you all the content that you need. So these are the key concepts in standard number 2 that you're definitely going to need to know. So these two images shows you the diversity of the American colonies, and you see on the right the middle colonies were the most diverse of all the colonies. The different people that's coming into the colonies, you have people from Scotland, Ireland, the Netherlands, and Germany. That's bringing over different religious beliefs: Protestant, Catholic, Judaism, and the Quakers that settled in Pennsylvania under the leadership of William Penn. And as we discussed earlier, the Mid-Atlantic colonies were the most diverse. As you see on the left, this is something that we talked about before. What is it? Absolutely right. It's the transatlantic trade, or the triangular trade. And we're going to talk about number 3 on this triangular trade, which is depicted on the right, which is the route that slaves took from Africa to the America, called the Middle Passage. And this Middle Passage was a bad thing. These slave owners gonna pack up slaves and bring them to the Americas, and a lot of these slaves are gonna be willing to risk their lives in order to escape the agony of slavery. So the Middle Passage is a portion of the transatlantic trade that brought slaves from Africa to the Americas, where most of them were sold into slavery, and we're going to get to the details of slavery. So as the population of Africans go up in the Americas, African Americans are going to develop culture in America, and this culture in America is going to continue to increase as the population increases in America. So a lot of Americans are going to try to keep these African Americans from holding on to their culture. They're going to try to strip their culture away to make sure these slaves did not have an identity, that they did not identify with each other, in order to stop any possible rebellions. So example of things that African Americans were able to hold on to. In agriculture, they held on to shotgun housing plans. You still see shotgun houses today, where you have a porch. You walk in the house and there's bedrooms and a line. That's called shotgun housing plans. Those were started by Africans in West Africa. You also have agricultural things like okra, watermelon, and sweet potatoes. These things were taught to the Americans by the Africans. You have food waste methods like cooking barbecue. That's going to come from West Africa to the Americas, and the stuff that we still do even until this day. So the governing of these colonies, the British are going to be very chillax in the governing of these colonies. They're going to allow these colonies many times to govern themselves. We're going to talk about this period of the colonies governing themselves, known as salutary neglect. And salutary neglect is going to allow the colonies to do things like what you see on the right, creation of the Mayflower Compact, where the colonies were able to create their own government as long as they were profitable to the British. In this period of salutary neglect, it's going to create self-government systems in America. You see these self-government systems in places like Virginia, where you see the establishment of the House of Burgesses, and places like Massachusetts, where you see the Mayflower Compact, and then town meetings in places like New England. That's going to allow people to participate in government and govern themselves. This is going to be a crucial time period later on when we talk about the American Revolution, because the Americans were used to governing themselves. So why would the artist draw this picture? As we see, there's a guy standing in the middle with his hands up, and many people gathered around. This guy is preaching to the people. And at this time, America is going to begin to preach. People need to get a personal relationship with God. And as these preachers go around and have these revivals, church attendance is going to go up, but the amount of churches in America is going to go up into different Protestant sects. And this is going to be a positive thing and a negative thing for America. Positive in that they have more people going to church and they're going to be more unified. Negative for some people in America because the people begin to defy authority. As this Great Awakening, this set of religious revivals, is going to encourage people to question authority and question the authority of government and people in churches. So this is a source from Alan Brinkley's book that many of you people in Georgia have in your classrooms. It talks about the Enlightenment and the Great Awakening and how this Great Awakening is a reflection of the Enlightenment, which is going to challenge religious authority and challenge government authority. So the Great Awakening, set of religious revivals where preachers are going to go around and stress to people individual salvation, that you have to have a personal relationship with God, and this push for individual salvation is going to lead to a question of traditional authorities and is going to lead to a unification amongst the people. So these are the review questions that goes with standard number 2. If you pause the video, you can try to answer these review questions. You should be able to answer that with the content that I just gave to you. So that's the end of this video, guys. We'll see you back at standard number 3. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. See you at standard number 3, peeps.